Okay, so Autism in Women. This is the most interesting single trait you need to know about autistic women, and we're going to talk about it right now. We're going to talk about the why. Okay, guys, what is going on? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Dan, and I have autism and ADHD. And you know what's really interesting is I did a couple of videos talking about how autistic women would have similar traits. They'd have similar interests, like, you know, because autistic people do have similar kind of brains and how the chemistry of the brain works, then they'd also have similar interests, or they'd have similar things that they were interested in. Now, the most interesting thing about this was that I came across something so fascinating, that autistic women, and you have to give this video a thumbs up if you are one of these people, are really interested in true crime and murder people. Like people who are murderers, people who are committed true crimes, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, this is really bizarre. Like, why are so many autistic women? And if you're one of these, give this video a thumbs up. You have to let me know if you're one of these. Please share this video if you think it's helpful for somebody. And also tag your friends in the comments to see if they would be interested in this video. Now, it was racking my brain. I was like, why are these connected? Like, how is murderers and true crime connected to women on the autism spectrum? I was thinking about this for a while. Now, this is really interesting as well, because I remember when I was having my autism assessment, my second updated autism assessment, so from Asperger syndrome to ASD level 2, I remember the assessor asked me, does my mum sleep well at night? I'm like, no. And then he's like, okay, does she have any irrational fears? I was like, yeah, she's scared of vampires, right? And if anybody else is scared of vampires, let me know in the comments down below, because, like, this is not the first time I've heard of an adult, especially boomer generation adult, scared of vampires. Something that's completely fictional, but it's actually a thing. So, and then they were like, what does she like to do? I said, well, she's obsessed with, like, true crime and murderers and stuff. And they were like, interesting. I was like, I felt nothing of it. And then I did this video talking about, how many of the women on the autism spectrum that I know and I've met are really interested in true crime. And then all of my audience, like you guys, were like, Dan, you're absolutely right. I'm really interested in true crime, and I'm on the autism spectrum, and I'm a female. This is really weird. I feel called out. And I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, why is this? So I did some digging, guys. I did some digging, and I found answers for you. And it turns out it's actually quite fascinating. So if we rewind a little bit, autism is kind of like, we're always problem solving, right? So autistic individuals are looking to solve problems. And by solving problems, we're trying to confront something to make a difference in that thing. So, for instance, we love Lego, right? Why do autistic people like Lego? Because Lego allows you to construct things that may not have existed. So you're problem solving, you're clicking things together and creating a succession. Or let's think about it in a way where into reading books, right? And you're into reading books because the book is going to give you information that you wouldn't have had otherwise. And if you get that information, then you're able to get to a succession, right? So we're all about problem solving. Like my girlfriend loves solving Rubik's Cubes, right? So she's autistic as well, and she loves solving Rubik's Cubes. And I think this is really interesting because, again, it's problem solving, right? You're looking at something, it has a problem, you want to solve it. So how does this relate to murder mysteries? Now, on the contrary, it's not because these women want to become Sherlock Holmes. Just a heads up, if you're interested in one-on-one coaching with me, I have a 3-month coaching program which is available to everybody. Now, if you want in on this, definitely click the link down below right now to book a 15-minute consultation with me, and then we can proceed to book the 3 months coaching with me. Because a lot of people get a lot out of the coaching because I'm helping them express themselves in their own way to help them with their potential. Now, if you want access to this, again, the link is in the description down below for one-to-one coaching with Dan, me, or you can go to theaspyworld.com/121. So the number 1, number 2, number 1. All right, guys, on with the video. And the women on the spectrum think that they're detectives and can solve these crimes. No. It's bigger than that. It's basically, when you think of what is your worst fear? Like my mum, right? My mum is scared of vampires, right? And how did she overcome this irrational fear of vampires? Well, she had to slowly but surely expose herself to vampire stuff, right? So basically, I remember once I was watching The Lost Boys downstairs when I lived at home, and my mum came downstairs and she just stood in the kitchen because she didn't want to come into the living room and finish watching Lost Boys with me. And then she couldn't sleep all night. However, when she told herself, hey, look, vampires aren't real, there's no need, I'm going to go to bed, I'm going to chill because it's not real. She was exposing herself bit by bit. Now, before I go any further, I just want to take a short moment to thank today's video sponsor, which is an app I know you are going to absolutely adore. Guys, I want to talk about an app that I had the pleasure of coming across maybe 7 months ago, but now I have the honor of actually checking the app out, and I was able to work with them. Now, the app is called Pathfulness. Now, it's available on the Apple Store and on the Android Store. And what's the most interesting thing about this app? Why is it so important? Well, as I'm recording my phone screen right now, you can see that my actual social media apps are all grayed out. Now, if I try to click on Instagram, for instance, an alert comes up saying, got a thing to do. To open Instagram, state a reason in Task Force app now, or use emergency 5 minutes left. So I can basically tap this emergency minute and it'll allow me to open Instagram, right? But it'll only allow me to do that for a minute. What's really interesting is that this is probably the most productive app for ADHDers, because I have ADHD, right? And having ADHD means that I doom scroll a lot. Now, in this, you can set personal goals. Like, I spend too much time doom scrolling on like Instagram and TikTok, right? So I want to read more books. So what is interesting is if you do go doom scrolling, AI can actually suggest things to keep you more productive. So if you are doom scrolling for more than 10 minutes, it'll give you this little pop-up that says you should be doing something else and give you suggestions. Now, this is actually based on cognitive behavioral therapy research from Stanford University. And to me, it's an obvious one because this app is so bloody good. Now, what I would actually highly recommend is that you check the app out and play with it and see how you get on. Because to me, this is pretty amazing, because it's not always easy to be like picking up your social media and go, wow, do you know, I need to do something else. Because we have autism or ADHD and these things kind of happen automatically. It's nice to have an app that will just say, hey, it's okay, get back to work. They also send me alerts on my Apple Watch. And the cool thing about it is that there's like emotional labeling as well. It has session start and end time. This thing is a whole package. Now, if you want to check it out, there is a link down in the description down below. Please check out the Taskfulness app. I think it's amazing, and you will not be disappointed. It's probably one of the most productive apps I've ever seen for people with ADHD. Okay, let's go on with the video. Okay, back to the video. So, my mum confronting her fear really got me thinking, well, autistic individuals, what is, especially females, right? And we just think about women in general. Women are kind of the more vulnerable out of the two sexes, okay? So you got males and females. And females are the most vulnerable. Now, what is kind of one of the most, what's the biggest fear is being like, you know, abused or murdered, right? And if that happens, you know, that's an irrational, it's not an irrational fear, it's a fear that kind of like you have to kind of think about. And you think, well, what am I going to do in that situation? So, autistic women watch murder documentaries and true crime stuff to understand, to confront what those situations are. Because if you can learn more about it, you can avoid those situations. Like a woman was, you know, abducted and murdered, you know, in Ohio or something. Well, let's figure out how. Why? Was she walking alone? Did she have the right equipment with her? Did she tell people where she was going to be? You know, all those things. You can problem solve and apply those things to your life so those things don't happen to you. It's kind of like knowledge-based. It's like you're researching things. It's not because you're morbid or you're into kind of like weird stuff. It's because your brain is saying to you, hey, you need to learn these things to expand your knowledge base to get out of situations that you may be in. Because autistic individuals love learning. Like me, for instance, when I'm working out, I have to listen to audiobooks and podcasts because I have to learn, because I always need to learn. When I stop learning, when I don't have something that I'm learning or continuously reading or understanding, I hit a dopamine low, which then goes into a low motivation depression, which is absolutely abysmal. But the interesting thing about that is all I have to do is learn something. So every couple of months I'll apply for different courses and I learn things about my business and about YouTube and all this kind of stuff. And that keeps me happy. Now, autistic women are doing the same thing, but in the way where they're saying, hey, I want to learn how to survive best because I'm in a vulnerable category of the two sexes. This is how I learn those things. So I think this is absolutely fascinating. If you are a person who is obsessed with true crime, I want to know what your experience is. Did this make sense to you? Pop in a comment down below, because if we're urging ourselves towards survival and autistic people, especially autistic women, are learning things for survival, I think that autistic women have way much more potential than they even realize, because they're literally figuring out how to survive in situations where a lot of women fall foul to that victim category and they don't even know how that happened, or they don't know how to get out of those situations. So I think it's very interesting. I think that like we as autistic people are helping shape the future and the safety of people, and I think there's so much area there for growth. And autistic women individually could really create, I don't know, programs, courses, work with the police, work with, women groups to kind of help safety implementations and looking at like the pitfalls of how these atrocious crimes ever happened. And yes, big up. I'm an ally. Big up for women's rights and equality for women. I think that's really, really important. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I just want to interject in this video here to let you know that confidence is one of the main issues that holds autistic individuals back from their full potential. This is why I made a course which is the Chaos to Confidence in 90 Days Blueprint, which means I can take an autistic person from complete chaos to being very confident and acing their life. So if you're an autistic adult and you want access to this program, you can check it out. The link is in the description down below, or you can go to theaspieworld.com/C2C right now, the number 2, and get access to this program.